Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to some more Dominion 5 Multiplayer Showdown, episode 33, turn 33 for this series here. It'll be just me for this one, as Chris was not able to make it. He was busy doing something. But we'll go through and start off with the messages first. So we got a message from Man. He says, "Greetings, Pythium. We once again bring words of warning. Ulm is all but finished, and soon Mictlan will look elsewhere to take thrones. They presently control the waters near the throne of the Pantocrator, or Pantocrator, however you want to pronounce that. But even more worrying, the main giant army of Utgard is at Mossflowers 123 and can enter the water. This will be the first attack. Utgard can also claim another level 2 throne, so we'll be tilling for ascension in the coming months. Mictlan will be hoping that you waste your forces defending against the giants and then swoop in and claim ascension for themselves. In the meantime, they will most likely offer friendship, and you may be able to extract gems from them, the Wardens of Avalon." I'll go over that in a second. We've got a message from Midgard. It says, Midgard falls, but only by the combined conspiracies and treacheries of Ulm. Ulm's slaves, formerly known as Avalon's Utgard, are ancient foes, and their starveling dog Pythium. It should be no surprise that it would take so much to bring down mighty, manly Vikings. We feels no shames. This is our most glorious moments. We will fight, use our enemies to the bitter's ends. We must chooses to serves. Then we serves them. What's M's Ben's our friends from the beginnings and has fought with us valiantly. I'm really struggling to read this, but I want to read it in the tone that he's wrote it because I think it's hilarious. So if you want to pause the video and read it yourself so you can understand more, feel free to do that. "If Utgard rules in the days to come, these other wretches will fare no better than those of us who resisted the cold, heartless giants." Okay, we got the research and alteration, which is great. Construct Mandragoa, revived King. We didn't find any magic sites. There was a battle we're going to watch. And we had an unexpected event occur in Collingwood Reach. It was just Dominion -2. And then a worldwide event, Dominion -1. So let's go ahead and watch this battle first before we talk about anything. This is the first battle between us, Pythium, and Satis down in the water. We had moved these forces last turn. We're going to go ahead and let this play out, but I'm sure you guys know exactly how this is going to go. So getting Wooden Warriors cast there, which is going to help us out a lot. And seeing everybody kind of move up and just run into these units like a brick wall. Nice. So yeah, just completely shredded that whole Satis army. Wasn't really a whole lot to that. So that's the end of it. And we can see here, if we look, that we lost nothing and they lost a lot. Almost their whole force. There's a few people that made it, a handful of Tritons. So that was that there. Now to talk about the messages, Man is right about one thing. Utgard is a threat. What he's not right about is, coincidentally, the same turn that he wrote the message, Utgard moved their forces south into Grogmire, which means I don't think they plan on going for the level 3 throne, because they actually dropped their forces down, which is interesting to take note of. So it's hard to say where he's going. Could be going towards Mictlan, could be going to aid towards Midgard. I'm not really sure, but he definitely doesn't have, at least this doesn't show any intentions of going for the level 3 throne, because if he was, he probably would have moved into the water or kept his forces at Mossflowers. I'm going to say that as for everything else, Midgard here calling it sort of his end, but he's still got a lot there, so I don't think he's done yet. He did lose his main force, and that crippled him massively. But he's got a lot of land, so it's not like it's completely over. I'm actually going to move forces up, or move my scout up that way. This scout I'm going to keep on Providence. Ulm is somewhat holding on to these two, but just barely. And it's that a lot of people were saying I should attack Ulm, and me and Chris should attack Ulm and take these provinces, and you guys are right to some extent. It would make sense to attack these provinces and take them, but me and Chris kind of disagree. Even though they are free provinces, if we were to take these, we'd have to leave forces there to siege down the fort, for one. Two, these create a nice buffer between us and Mictlan. We really don't want Mictlan bordering us. And then the other point, whatever point number it was, is that we're trying to focus on other things. If we divert our forces to taking these provinces, then we can't focus on what really is the game-winning move, which is trying to go for these thrones here, or whatever thrones we can from Satis. with Pangea here, which we've got a scout here now because there's actually a pretty large force there sieging this. So, I mean, Satis hasn't broken this, which means his army might be shattered someplace. He clearly doesn't have a huge army. He's got a lot of thrones, though, so there's a possibility we could actually take him out. He's actually got 2 thrones, which is this one and this one. And he's probably getting ready to claim this one, and he could probably get to this one at some point. So it's just about trying to hold back Satis. I think if we get to the Tide of Dreams here, we take this throne, it's going to hurt him a lot, especially because I'm moving the army up into Bleak Grove. So we can hurry up and hit Trololo Bridge, try to take it out as fast as we can, and then that'll be our forces right next to Pangea's forces. A massive Satis force destroyed. And at that point, I would say that it'd be pretty close. I'm moving a scout down here because I think Satis has a big army here sieging. But that would be pretty close to probably knocking Satis out of the game, especially if he loses his capital. So we can grab this and start cleaning up around here like we had talked about last episode. And trying to clear a path there. But I don't think it's a bad idea. So I've got some units just moving around. And my dog's going to bark because my girlfriend's home from work. So she'll calm down here in a second. She's going to bark a little bit. Because that's what she does when she sees a car pull up in the driveway. So I apologize if that's annoying anybody. Yeah, so I'm just moving a lot of forces around, searching for magic sites. There's not a whole lot. Moving the main force up here. I did go ahead and swap around a certain amount of units, but this army is going to need to be cleaned up a little bit. I am moving these guys down into Grogger Weeds. We had talked, or me and Chris had talked about breaking off some of these forces to go back up to help take Trololo Bridge, but I don't think we're going to need to. I think this army is going to be large enough. There's a lot of units here. If we were lacking anything, it would probably be more of the Hydras, which we've got a lot of them here. And it might not hurt. I don't know what a good move to do is. Let's see. Oh, we could pull Paghat back with his Hydras, but I don't know. I think I'm just going to move them all in the Grogger Weeds. I don't know what's in Tide of Dreams. It could be a fairly large force. We can always move them back later to help. Keeping the units in Bleak Grove. I don't think Satis is going to be able to build this up fast enough to stop our army regardless. Even if we kept it at this size, I think he's going to have some issues. It's not a massive army, but it's good size and it's got a lot of magic capability, and that's what's going to hurt him really badly. That Rigor Mortis and Relief and all of those spells are just going to kill him a lot. And we did get the alteration level 7, which unlocks a lot of really useful stuff. Going down, it mainly gets us the let's see, where is it? Alteration. Nope. Mass Protection, which was what we wanted. Creeping Doom was another really good one. So we've got a couple of things here. Fog Warriors. So I'll probably go ahead and let Chris, and me and Chris will set that up when we got our forces on Bleak Grove and ready to move into Trololo Bridge. I'm not worried about these guys here because you can see there's just an army of 30. He might move units out of Tide of Dreams to meet us in Grogger Weeds, but I kind of doubt it. I feel like if he's going to do anything, he's going to defend Tide of Dreams because it just makes the most sense for him to do. And probably keep his forces there. If anything, if I was him, I'd take these forces on Grogger Weeds and pull them back to Tide of Dreams. If he does do that, I may take the force that's here, or even the Mandragoa, because we probably don't need the Mandragoa, and probably move them back to Dread Squid Wash and raid out of the water when we attack Trololo Bridge. But yeah, this is a good sight to see. So it's not a huge army, but he does have an army there, and he is at least sitting on Satis's capital. I don't know if he's... It says besieging army, but I don't know if he's actually got the sieging power to take it down because it is a citadel. But he's sitting on it, so that's a pretty good sign. But yeah, so kind of going over everything. I know it's not a really long episode, but there wasn't a whole lot going on. Right now, it's just a lot of moving forces around and getting in a position to declare war on Satis. But yeah, I think I disagree with Man. I don't think Utgard's going to be a problem, at least right now. Moving his forces south from Mossflowers definitely makes me feel better. We don't know where they're going, and I've got a scout here moving up into this forest, whatever, Pikachu Song Forest. So he's going to move up there and hopefully try to catch. I'm going to move him up towards the army and try to catch where they're going so I can kind of follow them possibly, or at least see if they hit Hawk Woods, if I can catch them going into Plains of Light or Titan Sea, I'll get an idea what direction they're heading. But they're not going north, so that's good. And Miquelon probably does have his eye on the 3-point throne, but me and Chris talked about this last time, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. This is interesting, though. I wonder if Miquelon's going to counter that with anything. But, yeah. And then whether or not Midgard actually holds on, he's ruling himself out of the game, but I wouldn't leave up to Wade Star. He's actually, Wade has actually called himself early out of the game. I think in the past, it was either season 2 or something that he, like, basically, I don't want to say gave up, but he called himself out early in the game, and then he ended up not doing too bad and holding out till the end. So it's possible. I mean, he's got a lot of land here still, so his income's going to be fairly large. He's got citadels all over the place. I mean, he's not going to go down easy. I'm sitting on Midgard right now, and the army on Jonko Flats didn't move onto Midgard, even though I thought that they would. So he's still building vans and stuff there as well. And he's probably got a pretty large force ready to defend that. So it's probably going to take a lot of sieging power to take it down, which could potentially be where this army's going. But that would be a really long trek. But maybe Utgard doesn't see the 3-point throne as a way to victory. Maybe he sees taking out Vanguard as more of a way. Or maybe even taking this throne, since that should be a 2-point throne. Yeah, should be a 2-point throne. So, or it is a 2-point throne. It's not should be. So, but we've got our path here. If we take the Tide of Dreams, that'll be 5 points, and then if we can sneak our way up without anybody noticing and take this, maybe that'd be our 7 points. So we'll see. But I guess that's the end of this episode. Definitely a short one. If Chris gets a chance to meet up or talk to me before I submit the turn, then I'll probably send him off to have a look at it as well. But yeah, he was busy, so he wasn't able to join me. But he hopefully will be able to join me for the next one, which will be the most critical turn. Luckily, this was the best turn to miss, because there really wasn't, other than the battle and moving forces up to get ready for war, and then moving them over into Grogger Weeds, there really wasn't a whole lot going on. But next turn is going to be very important, because we'll probably be our first push into Satis and setting up some spells with the new alteration. And then we won't have construction 6 for 2 more turns, but yeah, that should be it. All right, so I want to thank you all for joining me. I do hope that you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.